Hey guys, what's up? It's Jeff with PackGeek. I'm here with Ivan Lovegren of Go GTS Live and the National. Man, you've been holding court on the main stage every day since we've been here.
Yeah, it's really fun. We get to sort of be some of the entertainment, because obviously the floor of the National, from what you've seen, is busy and packed. Most collectors don't want to just sit in a chair and listen to me talk. That said, if you've walked for about 10 miles across the floor and you need a place to relax, we've got programming at the main stage all week long, and very lucky that myself and my Go GTS Live co-host Rob Bertrand are chosen to
Shout out to Rob. Sorry to interrupt.
No, that's okay.
He's a great dude.
Fantastic guy, been in the hobby a long, long time. So we get to co-host the stage together and have a lot of fun.
So tell us, for the 3 or 4 people out there that don't know Go GTS Live, tell us about that.
So Go GTS Live is the hobby's web show.
And it literally is.
Yeah.
Everybody knows about this.
But it's kind of fun to talk about because not a lot of people ask, and some people, it's not necessarily the podcast for the hobby. It is put on by GTS Distribution, which their entire outlook was a lot of people aren't providing the product information for the shops, and they're not supporting the shops necessarily. Well, we've got some bigger resources as a larger distributor where we can get access to events like the Panini NFLPA Rookie Premiere. We know not only just the base products that are coming out that everyone's familiar with, Topps Chrome, Panini Donruss Elite, Panini Prism. Everybody knows about those, and we share information about them, but where else are you going to hear about Onyx authenticated vintage baseball? Where else are you going to hear about Kevin Hefner's historic autographs products with President autographs? So the idea is that we're bringing more and more knowledge and awareness to the hobby, and thankfully GTS is willing to commit some resources to make that happen.
Well, I love it because you and Rob aren't just retail guys, like you're true collectors. Like you have a passion for this stuff anyways. So getting the information from you, from someone who collects in the hobby, to me is more valuable than someone who just knows the specs on the product. They're pushing it out.
Oh, I can't tell you how many times I get excited about a product as I'm in the middle of talking about it. They're very gracious to me where Rob does the heavy lifting and puts the show together and I just show up. So I'll be reading about a product, like I mentioned Onyx Authenticated. I am so high on them now. They've done some really good prospect products in the past, and Lance Fisher, who runs the company, was a talent scout in the minor leagues.
Really?
Yeah, so he has a great eye for
cool.
talent. If you look back over the checklist, there's always some really great names that aren't seen as much by the big companies. That said, he was trying to do modern cards with no logos, and they were still falling a little flat. This year he created a heritage-style card that captures the personality of the players really well. On-card autographs of guys like Wander Franco, Eloy Jimenez, some lesser-known names like O'Neal Cruz, a guy that I'm really high on. And you get it in a really fun pack that has some character to it that makes up for the lack of logos. Well, you can tell I get excited talking about it, even though part of me talking about it is letting collectors know that this is out there and they may not know about it.
So who are you collecting these days? Like, who are you PCing?
Well, PCing is Chris Bryant. I love the Cubs.
Okay, that's right. But you're from Omaha, so how did the Cubs?
So my dad is from the south side of Chicago.
Okay, got it.
But even there, the question remains, how did I become a Cubs fan?
That's right.
So moving to Omaha, we had WGN. So from as young as I can remember, we were watching the Cubs on WGN. Because once you get out of the city, and it's like, well, any Chicago is good, I guess. It wasn't until I was 20 years old that I found out my dad was a South Sider originally, and that the White Sox were his favorite team. But by that point, I was already a Cubs fan for life.
The Cubs are just a likable team.
Yeah.
Like, I would argue that the Cubs could be America's team if there were an America's team in baseball.
Yeah, and that's another one of my points that I harp on almost too much. In 2016, when we were creaming people and we were in the World Series, and all of a sudden, more than half the country's rooting for us, and everyone's like, oh, bandwagon Cubs fans. It's like, first off, there's only 2 teams left. You're going to have to pick one.
Right, yeah.
Second off, I am not mad that someone else is rooting for my team. That's just good, positive support.
I don't buy into the bandwagoning thing. I'm like, just you like you said, if it comes down to the World Series, you got to root for somebody. So am I just supposed to check out completely and just say go baseball? Like,
yeah.
What fun is that?
Yeah. So I don't get upset with people, and I think, and this might be maybe a different ideology from me and some other collectors, especially people that are really active on the message boards, and I respect their opinions, but I'm a positive guy who really just likes to see growth and excitement and joy. Joy is probably my favorite emotion. It's what I like to see in other people and what I like to try and live my life with. So I don't get as mad about fair weather fans. This national, I had a friend in Beverly Hills who is a crazy collector, well above my means, who sent me on a mission to find 2 vintage cards in a very specific grade. I've been back into collecting for a good 7 years, and I got in on the prospect flip, on the photo variation SSPs, like all the things that collectors hate. But this year, walking the floor of the National, hunting for these 2 cards in this grade, gave me a new appreciation for vintage that I've never had before. And so that's the perfect analogy in my mind.
What a great gig to have at the show.
Yeah.
You go, well, can you share any information on these cards? Or is that...
T206s.
I've heard of it.
But again, the real fun of it is trying to find these specific grades with the eye appeal that this collector wants. I saw quite a few in this grade, but the centering was, like California.
Does it rhyme with Bry Cobb? That was a Bry Bob?
Actually, it doesn't, so I can say that.
Okay.
But the bigger point I'm trying to get at is it took me 7 years to go from being that collector that a lot of collectors don't like to being the collector that a lot of collectors say we need more of. So let's see, when someone does come in new to the hobby and is buying up Bowman Chrome, instead of pushing them out with our opinions, let's welcome them in and sort of slowly usher them towards the vintage, towards the classics, towards our method, and give people time to grow.
Well, that's something that I've not seen before. Lately, as you know, there's been a lot of new people getting into the hobby for various reasons. And I never understand the people that are so precious about our hobby that they don't want newcomers. Whether they think they have a weird agenda or whatever it might be, they feel like their intentions aren't pure. I don't get not wanting more people in the hobby. I think it's fantastic. I want other people to enjoy this. Those are more people for us to trade cards with, talk cards with. Like, I don't know. What do you think about that?
There's another perspective that came to me just this national. I actually had my first national in Cleveland in 2014, I believe. There was a moment I had a visceral reaction to some collectors. Well, flippers, gamblers. They were doing the Upper Deck Wrapper Redemption Program, and they were ripping cases of a product. And I saw one kid, probably 11 or 12 years old, whose dad spends $1 bajillion, rip a pack, open it up, see how thick the card in the middle was, and literally throw it away if the card in the middle wasn't thick enough.
Wow.
And it hit me. This national, more than even last year, I have not been seeing that, even though there's more money in the hobby now. There's more people buying big hits. There's more people chasing big hits. And I have a thought behind why that may be. Because so much money has come into the hobby now, we've also seen a base chrome Aaron Judge Bowman can go for $50 in a high grade or higher. A base Wander Franco can go for $15 out of a pack, base chrome. I think the fact that the hobby has grown so much has actually taken it from just a gambling aspect to bringing value back to the base cards, which means collectors are valuing the base cards. In fact, it's no reflection of the breakers in the case break pavilion. I'm not saying they're greedy or anything, but in years past, they have brought their base up and just said, hey, here's all of our base, you guys can have them. We have not had one breaker do that this year.
I love that.
Whether because their customers want the base, or because they're getting some value out of the base. But it's an interesting shift that gets back to what I think a lot of collectors wanted 4 or 5 years ago. So
I am self-proclaimed base nerd. Like, I love base cards. I enjoy the inserts, but I really like base cards. I don't see any problem with that, because I came from a time where set building was a big deal. So those base cards were important. You
Jeff,
needed those.
There's no kids in the hobby. Except I had 3 kids this week tell me that they built the 2019 opening day set.
Interesting.
They were like, yeah, I built that set.
I'm glad to hear that. Speaking of
different kids.
Speaking of kids in the hobby, how you have 2 little ones at home, and you said they have interest in sports cards. How did that come about? Was that just by seeing Dad dealing in sports cards?
No, because I don't deal in as much as I talk about, to be honest.
Okay.
I do a lot more talking than I have time or energy or money to do dealing. Upper Deck actually sent my son a little kindness package because he had a rough day at school that I tweeted about. And not even the people I know at Upper Deck, some random customer service guy saw it and said, hey, I want to send something to this parent, to his kid. So that was really cool. And then 2 days later, Chris Carlin heard about it. He's like, oh yeah, that's Ivan, our guy. But so they sent a package of hockey cards and dinosaur cards.
So cool.
And the dinosaur card 10 actually has dinosaur toys in it as well.
Really?
And what's funny is my kids, they're identical twins, completely different personalities. One of them was running through them, and until he found the gritty NHL hockey card, he was like, he could care less. But then he liked that, and he really liked the dinosaur toy. The other one would take the carnage that Archer would leave behind, and Logan started taking them very quietly and just putting them in piles, just stacking them together. This pile
He's
to that
sorting.
pile.
I love
Yep.
it.
So it's pretty fun. Now you have a son as well.
I do, yes.
Has he shown any interest yet?
Well, he's almost 10 months old. He did.
Hey, that sounds like an excuse.
He tried to eat a Tommy Lasorda card.
Oh no, he's trying to eat Tommy Lasorda.
I mean, if you're gonna eat a card, like Tommy Lasorda seems to be like a decent choice. He hasn't shown any interest yet, but we have plenty of time to get him hooked on that. You know.
And are you stopping after one?
I don't know yet. I would love to have an army, but I got to convince the wife that that's a great idea. So, so you know, a set that I really liked to collect when I was a kid, 1989 Upper Deck baseball. We've opened an entire box. We've opened
You know what
an
I was
entire
collecting in
box.
1989? Score, if I was lucky.
Ooh. I didn't get to buy as many of these when I was in 1989 as I have as an adult. But with that said, we've gone through an entire box and haven't pulled a Griffey rookie.
Well, that's because I'm wondering, do you see these packs? Are they searched packs? Where'd you get this box? Reputable dealer?
Yes.
Okay.
I'd rather not say the name just in case something pops up.
Well, but it helps to know that it's a reputable dealer. That could literally just be time at work. Though.
Yes. So I wish you luck, sir. I hope you hold the Griffey that we've been looking for a few days now.
This is actually really fun for me because I joke and I kid, but we did not. Literally, Donruss and Score were the cards that we bought as kids.
Okay.
Score. I have not opened a whole lot of
the kiddos.
packs of this.
Well, now we're gonna get back some of your childhood.
Walt Weiss, which is unique because it doesn't show it on the front, but on the back it actually has a Rookie of the Year sort of special change.
Walt Weiss was a stud.
And a checklist. Ruben Sierra checklist. Nelson Santoviana. I like this because you can read the names on the back clear enough to like show the camera and read the name.
They're sharp looking cards. I have a Roger Clemens who's always a favorite of mine.
Braves. Oh, Chicago Cubs hologram.
And would you consider that a hit?
That's absolutely a hit.
Okay.
People will text me, what's a hit? I got a low numbered parallel. Is that a hit just because they want to go off on a manufacturer about something? And I'm like,
I
don't know. Cubs hologram is a hit in my book. Andy McGaffigan, Zane Smith, Mark Salas, Bruce Fields, Jeff Musselman, Jack Armstrong, and Lee Straker.
So, who's been your favorite guest on the main stage so far?
That's a really tough one because I had two highlights of this national that almost blow away every other national. The first was almost an hour with Gary Vaynerchuk.
Wow.
He gave us so much of his time and he was so gracious. Nice, Big Mac. Cal Daniels.
That's a pretty epic looking card, right?
That is.
He looks like a hero there.
Classic. That's Walter Luce. How do you say it?
Is that the photographer who took this? Really?
Yeah. It's so good that they ended up having special like insert sets and things.
That's cool.
Here's Pete Incaviglia, who is the favorite player of Chris Carlin at Upper Deck.
In fact, it's his Twitter handle, I believe.
Oh, I got a 1988 AL MVP also. So Rookie of the Year and MVP Jose Canseco. Andy Van Slyke. You're not opening a pack of 80s cards if you don't pull an Andy Van Slyke.
Hey, so I like that you're from Omaha as a Midwest guy. I am a big fan of the city of Omaha. Do you make it back very often?
Generally about once a year now that we've got kids. St. Louis Cardinals.
Were you a 311
Chicago
fan
White Sox.
growing up?
I was. I
And
knew
they're an Upper
people.
Deck's product,
I knew
right?
people who knew people. Let's put it that way. Big fan of 311. Never got to meet them myself, but yeah, they're in Upper Deck's product this year, Goodwin Champions, which is pretty cool.
Are you related to Nick Hexum?
No, I am not.
Okay.
Dickie Thon.
All right, I'm not doing great.
Oh,
One
Calvin
pack left.
Schiraldi. But so Gary Vaynerchuk, and then we also had on Friday James Holzhauer, the Jeopardy champion who won over $2 million in 32 episodes, who's also a professional sports bettor, and we played
Really?
a game.
Oh, that's a,
Yeah.
Okay, this.
Oh,
the
there we
biggest
go.
hit yet.
That's an
The
80s hit
second
right there.
biggest rookie in this set.
How about this guy, Carney Lansford? Do you know what movie he was in from the 90s?
Carney Lansford was in a movie?
Yeah,
No, I don't.
famous baseball movie.
Eric
Norton
do you know
of the
this?
Fat Packs, do you know?
What's that?
Do you know what movie Carney Lansford was in the 90s?
Angels of the Alpha?
Yes. Can you
Ew.
name his character?
Is this the reverse negative or not?
I can read Brave, so it is not.
It is not. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm going to show it anyways because it's a cool looking card. Who did I just talk to who is, Reed over at Dave and Adam Card World is a big Dale Murphy fan. Shout out to Reed.
You know what else is really cool? I've never actually seen this card. I can't remember ever seeing this card. And what a beautiful card. 1988 NL MVP Kirk Gibson,
That is a cool
literally
card.
capturing the moment of the
What a
walk-off
great
homer.
moment.
Oh, Eric Davis, Mike Trout 2.0 right there. That's Pullers, Paul Molitor. Terry Francona as a player. Lots of fun there. And he supports Signatures for Soldiers.
Does he?
Yeah.
Very cool. By the way, shout out Signatures for Soldiers. What a great group that is. They're doing some awesome stuff for a great cause.
All right, let's get through this last pack here. Thank you for
You
all
can
of
do
your
it.
time.
You can do it.
But yeah, we got to play Jeopardy with James. I
Did you really?
I got to be the host and ask the questions.
Oh, that's
It was
cool.
really exciting. So look for that on YouTube. GTS, Go GTS Live.
You have good form showing each card.
I know. You mentioned that you're a base card guy. I am as well. My co-host on the stage had to say, "I'll let you rip this if you rush through it." I'm like, I wanna.
I want to enjoy this, yeah.
Bob Dernier, Eric Plunk. Those of you who know, I have a few players that I don't care. It could be a one-on-one.
And who is that?
no-
Who just got the boot?
Bob Dernier, he was a Cub, but we had a video game in 1987. I was 3 years old and would play this baseball video game on our computer. Maybe it was 88. And for whatever reason on the Cubs roster, I just hated him. Whenever he was up to bat, I was so disappointed. So I have a signed baseball of him courtesy of my friend Mark.
Ivan,
Heard that story and got me that.
let's plug the social.
All right. It's pretty easy. Twitter.com/GoGTSLive. YouTube,
And watch the
GoGTS
breaks.
Live.
Come on.
And watch the breaks, yeah, but, you know, GTS, distribution.
What a team player. Hey man, this is fun. Thanks for spending a few minutes with us and ripping
Yeah.
some wax. Well, this isn't wax, but ripping some packs with us.
I know, this is the end of wax right here.
It was. That is
That's
the.
what we did. Even though 1991 Donruss was still wax. Remember those?
I do, of course. All right, buddy. Well, thank you very much, guys. We will see you next time. Hey guys, thanks for checking out another episode. Make sure to subscribe to PackGeek on YouTube. Also check us out on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Thanks. PackGeek.